Hello, one Insane Frame here, welcome on into another video. In the last video we tried Fallout New Vegas with that gun and my pronunciation of Yosemite Sam was not the greatest. However, moving on to today's video, today is the day we ask, can you beat Fallout 4's Pre-War Infantry? Now, we get a brief look at the Pre-War Infantry in the beginning, however we're not going to be using power armor this run, but instead we'll be using mods to get some pre-war equipment in the form of a M1 Grand and some army fatigues. The M1 Grand is actually a fantastic weapon, which is good stuff. It uses 308 rounds and hits for extremely good damage. However, to make sure this challenge isn't a cakewalk, we won't be using any armour other than an army helmet and some army fatigues provided by the mod. So whilst we can dish out a lot of damage, we're also going to be taking a lot of damage. So we have to stay on our toes to make sure we can get the first hit. So I'm probably going to spec some points into sneak, and we're going to be doing quite the sharpshooter sniper build. So with all of that out the way, let's get on to the rules. We may only use the M1 Grand in battle. We can only use the helmet and army fatigues provided. No glitches or exploits, and we're going to be playing on very hard difficulty. With everything set, let's begin the game. The character is easy as Nate is a pre-war soldier, so we can move right along to Voltec, and we decide to get 4 strength, 5 perception, 1 charisma, 5 intelligence, 4 agility and 4 luck for our special stats. A very well-rounded jack of all trades build, and we name ourselves Nate as that is the Soul Survivor's name. Once we're pulled out of our frozen pod, we lock the rad race up, no problem, and acquire the Pip-Boy and leave the vault. Now, I'm not sure how we're going to get an M1 Grand, but we have access to our armour early in a duffel bag just outside the bridge of Sanctuary Hills. So we pick our favourite and we're already looking the part, which is absolutely fantastic. However, it doesn't provide much defense, but we now need to get our offense squared away. So we put all the other armors back in the duffel bag and we go ahead and see a note, which gives us a clue to where to find an item. So the hunt begins. We need to find these cool cats, and the plot thickens as they could be anywhere. However, whilst we're not armed, we go on over and watch Preston fight some raiders, which is absolutely hilarious as he takes his sweet time. But when he's done, we decide to go on over and say hello. Hello, Preston. For using our manners, we get a level up for starting the Freedom Calls quest. So we go ahead and go to the level up page and we decide to get Aqua Boy so we can breathe underwater and we no longer take radiation damage while swimming. Very good. On our way to the source of the river, we pick up Tales of a Junktown Jerky vendor. It just doesn't escape us, ladies and gentlemen. Have we started swimming and have quite the way to swim, so we swim towards the so-called cool cats, which are actually the atom cats, and when we explore their base, a marvellous thing happens as we find the beauty that is the Blue Betty, one of 2 legendary M1 Grand rifles. However, its legendary effect is it allows more aim stability and 15% faster movement and a chance to stagger on hit. That is quite the lovely rifle indeed. We get to upgrade now beauty with a bayonet, and of course Todd's spirit is within the rifle as it just works, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll be the judge of that, Todd. With our weapon we can now go in the Museum of Freedom. Despite not having ammo, we put our bayonet to good use and stick it in some raiders. It certainly gets the job done and does us proud. We even get the perception bobblehead, giving us +1 perception, making a total of 6 perception. We then have a level up for all the good times and we go ahead and get Scrounger, so we find more ammo in containers. We go ahead and use the power armor to rip the minigun off and then strip the power armor of its bits and pieces. We go to Trudy and Carla and they aren't selling, but we get to Bunker Hill and find some 308 ammo. After shopping around, we do get some 308 ammo in abundance and we go towards Good Neighbor and start shooting some raiders and we level up. We decide to go for Rifleman, so we do 20% more damage with our weapon. Afterwards, we go to Good Neighbor and shoot someone in the face and go on our merry way. The combat zone is visited and we shoot the whole place up and loot all the raiders. We also level up, so we go for Fortune Finder so we can find more caps in containers, a excellent perk going along with Scrounger. Once we see Piper outside Diamond City, we leave her to it and go see Eleanor outside to buy lots of 308 ammo. After our purchase, we go to the Triggermen, and the Triggermen are actually very dangerous for us, as if they catch us off guard, we're pretty much done for. So a bit of sniping and careful positioning make them fair game, as whoever strikes first wins the engagement. So we take the fight to them, and it works out absolutely fantastically as we carve a path through them. Dino gets his head taken off as we snipe him out of existence, which is hilarious, and then we find Nick Valentine and set him free. We also get a level up for our trouble, so we decide to go for Fortune Finder rank 2, so we find more caps in containers. Once we run round with Nick Valentine taking names and shooting faces, we find Skinny Malone. We just go ahead and one-shot Darla and a trigger man with little to no trouble. Then we kill the last lackey, which is most excellent. Skinny then bites the dust like the silly Billy he is. Nick is met outside but is suspicious, but takes on our case and wants the details of our case, so we go to Diamond City and immediately go rummage in the desk of the mayor's secretary to get the keys for Kellogg's house. We then go see Nick in his office and Kellogg Cornflakes is mentioned, so we decide to break into his house as he's forgotten his manners. We then start stealing all his gubbins and Nick then calls for his best operative in the wasteland, and dog meat comes right to our doorstep, which is excellent, which unlocks Fort Hagen for us. We also have a level up, so we get rank 2 of Scrounger, so we can find more ammo and containers than previously. With all that sorted, it's over to Fort Hagen. We see Kat, who's a merchant, and a sentry bot is in tow, guarding her, only in Fallout, ladies and gentlemen. However, we get to Fort Hagen and we take the turrets out no problem. Once inside, it's very much cloak and dagger as we pop out and shoot the simps before they can retaliate against us. Our weapon does excellent damage and does amazingly well, however we have to watch our health as we take a lot of damage. We get a level up and we go for Bloody Mess rank 1, so we get plus 5% damage across the board, which is excellent. We also get the US Covert Ops Manual, so we're harder to detect, which is an absolutely fantastic item for us. As for Kellogg Cornflakes, we dispatch his guards, so it's just him and there's no one to interfere whatsoever, and then we run away. When we re-engage with Mr. Cornflakes, he is unfortunate enough to get a full volley of headshots in VATS as he just cannot deal with the damage. He then flops to the floor in slow motion, which is excellent. Anyway, after everything, we go to the terminal and a human person thing has been kidnapped. So okay, the Brotherhood is still show up, which is excellent, a sight for sore eyes for sure. However, we go back into Fort Hagen to pick up guns and bullets, allowing us to get plus 5% critical damage. We then head on over to the Cambridge police station to meet Paladin Danse and deal with the ghouls, which is excellent. And the old level up screen comes around once again and we get Rifleman rank 2, so we do 40% more damage whilst ignoring 15% armour, a extremely strong perk for us at this stage of the game. Danse leads the way as our point man and we get to ArcJet Systems. Once there, we get into a bit of a scrap with the simps, but they very quickly bite the dust thanks to some teamwork. It's only a matter of time before we restore the power to watch Danse fight for a little while. I'm sure he's doing absolutely fine, but when he's burned alive, Todd gives him plot armor, so he's okay. We do our fair share of looting, and after a final scuffle, we get the deep range transmitter. When outside, Danse recruits us into the Brotherhood of Steel, so we're all good. A level up is dished out, so we go ahead and get Bloody Mess rank 2, improving our damage done by 10%, which is most excellent. We report into the police station and we have a little meeting, which is pretty good. We get on board a vertibird, and once we're in the skies, we go towards the Pridwin, and once we dock in, we get to see Captain Kells. He assesses us as we step off the vertibird, then we are told to go see Elder Maxon's briefing. Elder Maxon then goes on about defeating the Institute, which we're on board with. We then talk to him personally and we're dismissed. We then get to meet the ship's crew, including a adorable kitty called Emmett, which is amazing. Once the crew have been met, we speak to Elder Maxon on the Pridwin's flight deck. He says Fort Strong has a garrison and it needs to be eliminated. However, he asks us to take the vertibird. We can't do that as it will break the rules, so we head there on foot. Upon arriving, we keep our distance and stick to long-range combat to get as much damage off as possible on the mutants. Once they close in, we make our way across the bridge so we can unload into them as fast as possible while staying close to cover. But when all the mutants are beaten, we start shooting the behemoth from the bridge. Eventually though, it goes away and we have to close in, so we play cat and mouse to get volleys off on the super mutant behemoth, as this thing is an absolute titan and can easily one-shot us, but the Blue Betty's legendary effect keeps us safe by letting us move that little bit faster. Once our business is done with the final bill of damage, we level up and we get rank 1 of sneak, so we're 20% harder to detect while sneaking. Then once we go inside Fort Strong, more mutants are destroyed with our volleys, but when we get through, we get another issue of Covert Ops, so we're that much harder to detect, which is absolutely amazing. We go into the basement and we waste more super mutants easily enough. Once we're done, we get Paladin Danse speak to us, and he says about his hate with the super mutants. We report back to Elder Maxon. He's impressed and gives us vertibird signal grenades. Our next mission is to then locate the Institute, so we have to go to Diamond City, and when we get there, we teach Piper a lesson as she forgets her manners. Shame on you, Piper. Anyway, we talk with Nick. He suggests a memory done with Kellogg Cornflake Cybernetics, so we go on over in our pre-war uniform. Then Piper is left in timeout. However, when we leave, she decides to attack us, so she gets shot in the face as she pulls a pistol on us. Piper then gets a bayonet in her for being awful with her manners. Shame on you, Piper. However, after that apocalyptic turn of events, so people forgetting their manners, we get a level up and we decide to go for gun nut rank 1. We then go on to Good Neighbour with Nick in tow, and then we meet Dr. Amari. Nick is sat down and we go ahead and do the same to get into the memory sequence. We see a Corsair and Kellogg cornflakes converse, and a member of staff has left the Institute and they're out there somewhere in the goopy glowing sea. The main villain then teleports away with his minion. Once we're out, Dr. Amari doesn't notice the blood splatter on our chest, but we say we need to track down Brian Virgil in the gooping glowing sea. So we make our way out there, avoiding fighting at all costs, and make our way to our objective, meeting a pack of rad scorpions. They are then introduced to the Children of Atom, which makes this a hell of a lot easier as the scorpions are chain stunned, so they don't last very long. But once they're dealt with, we decide to loot Mother Icelode's corpse for a note that confirms Virgil's whereabouts. We've gone over to his cave, sneaking past the Death Claw, and we meet the man of the hour, Brian Virgil, who's initially very skeptical of us, so we go ahead and make a uneasy alliance with him. He says about the teleporter and that we need to kill a Corsair, so as with all runs, it's off to the gunners in Green Tech Genetics. The building is sighted from the bridge, and when we get to the building, we go in and take out a turret to level up. We decide to go ahead and get gun nut rank 2, and the gauntlet here is quite tricky as we bump into a gunner with a missile launcher that really isn't the best, as we have to go at them repeatedly until we manage to take them out. As for the Corsair, we save up a crit and we use a volley of VATS to do heavy damage, really leveling the playing field. We use the last of our magazine and we go in for the Corsair chip, but before we do that, we eliminate all the hostiles for good measure. Then we take the Corsair chip. We then get to the North Church and we see a legendary ghoul who has his legs missing, courtesy of our rifle. And the basement is all the same as we plough our way through, and when we meet the railroad, Glory gets shot in the face and we run down the hallway and wait for everyone to show up, and then we shoot them down. Everybody comes through one by one and they get taken out with little to no effect as they clearly set a trap for us and it backfires. Not so smart now, hey Desdemona, with your surprise meeting. The railroad HQ is much easier as there's only 4 people present. They are no match for our bullets, so it's easy pickings. We use Tom's terminal and go ahead and start decoding the chip ourselves by using the available apparatus to get the job done. Once we're out, we get a level up, so we add a point into sneak, so we're 30% harder to detect while sneaking and no longer set off floor-based traps. Very nice. We decide to go to the USAF satellite station and we take out the raiders, no problem, like the sharpshooter we are. However, once inside, we pack quite the punch into the garrison and they all fall like the flies they are, which is fantastic. We go ahead and loot the locket and we get into the office with another issue of a Covert Ops magazine. This is our 3rd issue, which is excellent, so we're even more difficult to detect while sneaking. We go ahead and hand the locket into Apathy Farm for XP, and we then go to Virgil. He gives us the blueprints, which is excellent. Also, our weapon gets a makeover, so it's going to hit much harder and faster than before with Bella recoil control, so we're in an extremely good position now. Elder Maxon is notified of our progress and sends us to Ingram. We then get the teleporter online without any issues and we get briefed by the Elder himself. We have to find and locate Dr. Madison Lee and recruit her into the fold. So we get teleported inside the Institute, and as per the usual, we use the network scanner and meet the child simp. We then meet Senor Potato, or Father, who is the main antagonist of this game. We agree to his conditions so we can now go around the Institute, but he's a mad scientist and we're a GI pre-war soldier, so the rivalry is very real. We meet Dr. Lee and she wants a tape from us, and we go to the FEV lab and go ahead and confront an Assaultron. We shoot the legs out so we can easily take them out no problem, which allows us to go to Virgil's old office and swipe the holotape. We decide to get the FEV for Virgil as well. We give Dr. Lee her evidence and she decides to listen to the holotape, and it's bad news. However, it does get her back into the fold with the Brotherhood of Steel, so mission accomplished. We then talk to Father and we get teleported to the Brotherhood of Steel. We hand some data to Ingram and she points us over to Elder Magson. We go aboard the Pridwin and the Elder tells us that Dr. Lee is being interrogated. So we go back to Ingram and she shows us the big bag of bolts that is Liberty Prime. We'll get them online, however, we get 2 level ups and we give ourselves a boring +2 agility. It's kind of meh, but it will certainly help us out. We then go ahead and speak to Dr. Lee. She agrees to come out the corner and play nice with Ingram. With everything set, we go see Ingram once again with Dr. Lee present, and we have to get some high-powered magnets. However, we decide to go to the FMS North Star and start blasting away at some raiders, which is excellent. Also, we get another issue of Tales of a Junktown Jerky Vendor. It simply doesn't escape us, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that useful, and after killing the main raider boss, we see him drop and get the agility bobblehead, getting +1 agility, which is simply excellent. The high-powered magnets are inside a hospital, so we take out many robots, and thankfully many of the enemies use melee, so we're all good, and we deal with them at range no problem. Once we get through, the chest has high-powered magnets in, so we head on back to build the actuators. Once we build the magnets, we deliver them to Ingram, and she said that we need to find some nukes, so quite a step up from some actuators. However, we see Liberty Prime, who's looking better by the minute, and when we're back in the glowing sea, we see Scribe Halen. She gives us a distress pulsar, which we need for our mission, so we then hoof it to a concrete pyramid, and inside the concrete pyramid, we defeat all the ghouls by unloading everything into them. Once they're gone, we press forward and see Henry, so we shoot him in the face, and then see an Assaultron and run for it. Eventually, we shoot one of their legs out using Vatch, which allows us to beat down the Assaultron. After we get the doors open, we set the deep range transmitter down and shoot the glowing one. We then use the lift to allow us to get out of here, and we get back to the airport. We report to Ingram and Dr. Lee, and they let us push the button to make Prime activate its systems. Elder Maxon summons us and says that Paladin Danse has gone AWOL as he is a simp, so we must kill him accordingly. We try to refuse it, but Maxon doubles down and says it's a direct order, so we have to carry it out. So we go pet the Brotherhood kitty as they're so cute, and Quinlan explains what must be done. But then Scribe Halen interrupts us in front of the kitty, which is uncalled for, and then we go and meet her to get Dance's location, which is excellent. We have a level up to dish out, and we get sneak rank 3, so we're 40% harder to detect, and we no longer trigger enemy mines, which is fantastic. When we get to the bunker, we take out the turrets to get inside, and once inside, we use VATS to shoot Danse in the face, killing him outright and take his holotags. After resupplying our ammo, we go see Elder Maxon, and he promotes us to Paladin, which is excellent. So it's time to report to Captain Kells, and we are assigned to go against the railroad for round 2. Ingram also makes an additional request for Pam to be retrieved from the railroad, so we use our boots to walk on over to the North Church, and when we get inside, we snipe a few agents and bash one of them in the face to level up. We decide to go ahead and get Rifleman rank 3, so now we do 60% more damage and ignore 20% of the target's armour. We then gun down more of the railroad, and we say hello to Pam. Hello Pam. She will now go to the airship to Ingram. Once the mission is complete, we go and report into Captain Kells, and he says that Ingram is waiting for us. Ingram asks us to get the Brilliant Agitator, so we ask Ingram to come with us and board a vertibird. We get a prompt to say the Institute will be most displeased, but we don't like them anyway as they forgot their manners, so it's perfectly fine. We then go to the mass fusion building, and when we circle round a bit, we bail out the vertibird. We get to business, killing the simps located everywhere on the roof, and then we get the ID card, and then we get inside to begin descending the lift. We take out many of the enemy, as Cobra Kai say, strike hard and strike fast, so we do exactly that, and it works out really well. Once the lift has been sabotaged, we pretty much just run as fast as possible, and we get the lift repaired almost immediately. We then start to open fire on the simps to clear up the area and continue descending. Once at the plaza, we make a dash for the second elevator, and we get a couple of kills for the tally. Then we descend to the reactor, and once in the reactor, we can't change out of our uniforms, so we go in, we get the Brilliant Agitator, and then we survive on a smidgen of health due to radiation. But then the chamber clears our radiation, and a few stim packs in, we're back on our feet again, and then we see the sentry bot, so we stay in the container and use many volleys into striking the sentry bot, killing it outright with many shots. Ingram shows a waffle, and now a girl Ingram. We get a pair of Assaultrons come in, and we cap one of them in the legs, doing good damage until it's taken out of commission with relative ease. The second Assaultron dukes it out of Ingram, so we put an end to the Assaultron as Ingram is one tough cookie. We run to the main plaza and then start running to the door to go outside, and we fast travel back to the airport. So we talk to Ingram, we go and install the agitator in Liberty Prime, and he's off to go pay a visit to the Institute. As we follow Liberty Prime, we gain a level up, so we go for a perk which is Ninja, so sneak attacks with our rifle does 2.5 times the damage. We keep following Prime and join Elder Maxon's division to assault the Institute as death lasers litter the battlefield, destroying the simps no problem. Liberty Prime creates a hole in the ground so we can go on in. Elder Maxon is waiting and cuts to the chase and gives us a pulse charge, and we know what to do. Upon arriving into the old lab, we easily take out the turrets, and the Brotherhood has still managed to obliterate the enemy no problem. Bioscience is a shooting gallery for us, as the Gatling lasers are doing the heavy lifting, destroying everything in our path. Then it's off to the main plaza, and the Brotherhood are just absolutely crushing it as they mow down everything in sight. It's an amazing display which is just brilliant. We go to the director's quarters and we see the terminal, and we use the override system as well as the evacuation orders. We then see Senor Potato and he gets what's coming to him. It's off to advanced systems and we go to the reactor, so we start sniping some personnel, and Maxson just slams through the front door, gunning everybody down. We then open the reactor up and plant the pulse charge, and we get teleported out to the main entrance. We then see the evil villain and he gets a shot, and we tell Ingram to teleport us out. Pressing the detonator, ending the run, answering the question, can you beat Fallout 4 as a pre-war infantry? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can, and it's pretty nerve-wracking. Oh my days, that run was really cool. It was quite nerve-wracking as the damage piled up, and as we went through the story it got more and more, but it was really cool doing a sharpshooter playthrough. That's one of my personal favourite styles of play, and it was very refreshing to be able to use a legendary weapon. Full disclosure, I never knew the Blue Betty's location until logging into the game and seeing that note. Otherwise, we would have had to get to level 13. However, with this challenge complete, we're going to be starting Fallout 4 as a dog for the 20k special. I just also want to give a huge thank you to each and every one who has subscribed. I just can't thank you enough. Just thank you so much. You're all brilliant and you're all amazing. Appreciate every single one of you, and once again, I can't thank you enough, as this is just a dream come true, and it's really lovely to just be able to do what I love to do, and it just making content for you guys is absolutely fantastic, and I just hope you all enjoy it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below if you want to say hello or anything. Anyway, with all that good stuff, you are all amazing. I'm Insane Frame, and I'll see you guys in the next one, the 20k special. This is Insane Frame signing off. I hope you all have a lovely day, an absolutely fantastic evening, and look after yourselves. See you later, everybody, and have a good one. Bye-bye for now.